I'll be honest, the words fire sprinkler deficiencies didn't mean much to me until I received an inspection report with a long list of items that needed to be corrected. I manage a commercial office building in Miami, and after our annual fire sprinkler inspection, Florida Fire Solutions walked me through several fire sprinkler repairs and deficiency corrections that I had no idea were important. Looking back, I'm glad we addressed those issues before they became bigger problems. When you own or manage a commercial property, there are a lot of systems competing for your attention. HVAC, roofing, elevators, plumbing, electrical. It's easy to assume the fire sprinkler system is fine because you never see it in action. That's exactly how I thought until our annual inspection identified several deficiencies that required attention. One of the things I appreciated most was that the technician didn't immediately start talking about replacing everything. Instead, he reviewed the inspection report with me and explained each deficiency in plain English. Some items were simple, like replacing damaged sprinkler escutcheons or outdated pressure gauges. Others were more important, such as replacing corroded sprinkler heads, repairing leaking valves, and correcting supervisory device issues that could affect system monitoring. That conversation changed the way I think about fire sprinkler systems. The purpose of an inspection isn't to generate repairs. It's to identify anything that could prevent the system from working the way it was designed during a fire. The technician also explained that these inspections follow NFPA 25, which establishes the inspection, testing, and maintenance requirements for water-based fire protection systems. I had heard of NFPA before, but I never realized how detailed those standards are or how many components have to be inspected and maintained throughout the life of a sprinkler system. One thing that really stood out was how organized the entire repair process was. We received a clear proposal listing every deficiency, why it needed to be corrected, and what work would be performed. There weren't any surprises or confusing technical descriptions. Once the work was approved, everything was scheduled promptly, and communication was excellent from start to finish. I also learned that many deficiencies develop slowly over time. Sprinkler heads can become painted over during renovations. Gauges eventually age out. Valve packing can begin to leak. Signs become faded or disappear. None of these issues happen overnight, but together they can affect compliance and, more importantly, the reliability of the system. Because our property is occupied every day, minimizing downtime was important to us. Florida Fire Solutions coordinated the work efficiently and explained when portions of the system would be temporarily out of service. They also made sure the repaired components were tested before the work was considered complete. That gave us confidence that everything was functioning properly before the project ended. Another thing I appreciated was that nobody tried to create unnecessary work. If a component was operating correctly, they said so. If something needed repair, they explained why. That honest approach made it easy to trust their recommendations. Since then, I've realized that staying ahead of deficiencies is much easier than waiting until a fire marshal inspection, an insurance inspection, or an emergency exposes a problem. Preventive maintenance almost always costs less than dealing with larger repairs after years of neglect. For anyone responsible for a commercial building, warehouse, condominium, apartment complex, office building, retail center, healthcare facility, or industrial property, I think it's worth working with a company that understands both inspections and repairs. Finding deficiencies is only part of the process. Correcting them properly is what keeps your fire sprinkler system reliable and helps maintain compliance with NFPA 25. Looking back, I'm glad we didn't wait. What started as a routine annual inspection became an opportunity to correct several issues before they turned into much bigger problems. The process was straightforward, communication was excellent, and every question we had was answered without pressure. If your building recently received a fire sprinkler inspection report with deficiencies, don't panic. Review the report carefully, ask questions, and work with a qualified fire protection contractor who can explain the repairs clearly. In our case, Florida Fire Solutions made what seemed like a complicated process much easier to understand, and we came away confident that our fire sprinkler system was ready to do its job if it's ever needed.